let's get to one of the most enjoyable experiences I've had watching a football game, which is watching the Eagles lose. That was fun. It's a very different experience than watching the Cowboys lose. Like the Cowboys, you know it's coming, and you kind of feel sorry for Cowboys fans because they just drink that Kool-Aid, right? They just want some. Man, when I grew up, they used to win all the time. That's what all those Cowboy fans. They're all like children of the 90s, and they're like, man, when I grew up, we were winning all the time, right? I don't understand. This is the year. This is the year. This is finally our year. Like, nah. Whereas Eagle fans are like, nobody likes us. We don't care. You're right. Nobody likes you. And when you suck, we love that you suck because nobody likes you. We don't dislike the Cowboys. We dislike the Cowboys' way, style, arrogance. Hey, whereas I don't think Eagles fans are arrogant. They're just obnoxious. And so is Nick Sirianni. He's obnoxious. Like, full disclosure, I could tell you that there are times in my life that somebody could have described me that way, and many of you may listen to the show and be like, you know what? You kind of got a little obnoxious streak. You're right. But you know what I don't do? I don't puff out my chest. I don't play to the camera. I don't talk trash to the other team while I'm coaching a football game. Right? Like Sirianni's whole act, the air is out of that balloon. Here's Sirianni when he's asked about his job security after getting blown out by the Bucs last night.
I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about the guys. Again, there's a lot of guys in that locker room, all the guys in that locker room, every single one of them that put their heart and soul into this. I'm not worried about me. That's a little premature to talk through that. Everybody in that locker room's hurting right now. Coaches, players, staff, everybody in that locker room's hurting. And my job right now is to be there for them, be there for the guys. We'll get into all that. I'm not there yet.
Get into all that. I'm not there yet. Okay. That thing's a mess. And I got to tell you, I think it starts at the top on offense and starts at the top with the coaching staff. Here's Jalen Hurts when he was asked about the team's collapse.
You know, in this league, you have to be able to find ways to win in a ton of different ways. And I feel like for a time there, we were doing that, and we were doing it at a high level. We were winning a lot of games, and we weren't playing to the level we thought we should be playing to. And then kind of got in a hole in the back end and really couldn't pick ourselves out of it.
That's pretty accurate, by the way, right? There was never a point in time, which outside of their record, they were 10-1, that you're like, you know who's awesome? The Eagles. You're like, at some point they'll be awesome, but they haven't yet. At some point they'll be awesome, but they haven't yet. Because they snuck by the Commanders twice, right? Snuck by the Cowboys at home. Cowboys had a great shot, first and goal, chance to beat them. Snuck by the Chiefs, snuck by the Bills. Bills should have won that game. And they snuck by the Vikings, snuck by the Patriots to start the season. And when they stopped sneaking by, Niners put 42 on them. Cowboys put 33 on them. Seahawks beat them on the road. Cardinals beat them. Giants beat them. Buccaneers beat them. But I'll tell you, like, I've talked to NFL people. We've had people on the shows like, are we sure Jalen Hurts is not any part of the problem? Right? Because remember, last year, it's not just that they had different coordinators. Last year, they played the easiest schedule in the NFL. And even some of the more difficult teams they played, when they beat the Cowboys had a backup quarterback. So, I mean, Hurts ends up 23 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. But if we're fair about it, right? Over the last 6 games in the regular season, he had 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Let me repeat that, okay? The last 6 games that Jalen Hurts, who was an MVP candidate last year, who signed a gigantic offseason contract, the last 6 games, he threw 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. That's just the regular season, not even counting last night. Last night he threw 1 TD, no interceptions. They got beat 32-9. Game wasn't competitive. So, I mean, look, that thing is a mess. And I don't know if Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, if they get rid of him, get rid of Sirianni, you can't get rid of Hurts. But both of them. And the thing about Hurts is he has a very calm, quiet, confident way about himself. But there were people at Oklahoma. There were people at Alabama. And I think there's now people in Philadelphia like, Jalen, he looks the part. He speaks the part. Everything about him. But there's something there where it feels really kind of Russell Wilson, but without God Squad. Russell Wilson, but without God Squad. And I've had this mantra for the entirety of my radio and TV career, and it comes from something I believed when I was a player, is you can't fool players. Can't fool them. You can fool GMs, coaches, owners, fans easily. Can't fool players. They see every day, and it's one of those can't con a con man. And I think you saw another dust up on the sideline with his tight end. You've seen it before with A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown. I think he's not a phony, but there's some phoniness to the bravado.